Hi, this is Dan and Lexi from Dan Schultz Outdoors, reminding you, keep the adventures alive.
Hey y'all, I'm Johnny.
And I'm Colleen. And we're the Keel Quest. And we want you to keep the adventures alive. Cheers!
Hey, this is Darren from My Paddle Repeat, encouraging you to keep the adventures alive.
This is David from Beachley Ironworks saying keep the adventures alive.
Hey, Kevin with an A here. Keep the adventure alive.
Hi, I'm Dan Mayon. Keep the adventures alive.
Hi, I'm Kevin Cowan, the Happy Camper. Remember, keep the adventures alive. Awesome!
Woo, buddy! Shug here! Keep the adventures alive. I am.
Ethan here, the Avid Outdoorsy guy, reminding you to keep the adventures alive.
We're John and Aaron.
Keep the adventures alive.
Hey everyone, it's Kylan from Lure of the North, and I encourage you to keep the adventures alive.
This is Sky North telling you, keep the adventures alive. And now on with the show.
Well, happy Tuesday evening, everybody. Hope everybody's had a great week. This is CANOEHOUND'S Outdoor Adventure Show, a show that brings you a lot closer to the great outdoors by bringing you hot topics and personalities that you enjoy and watch on YouTube and throughout the whole internet world. My name is Dennis, also known as CANOEHOUND, and if you're new to the show, thank you very much for tuning in tonight. We've got a doozy for you tonight. After last week's show, we're in for some good laughs tonight. Let's just say that. We are live here every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, and I hope you can join us. If you are new, like I said, feel free to mark that on your calendars or hit that subscribe button down below and the bell notification, and you'll know exactly when CANOEHOUND'S Outdoor Adventure Show is going to be going live. So that's always a good way to stay connected. Right now, while we're letting some people join in on the chat over there so that nobody misses out, I'm just going to get a few announcements, a little bit of news out of the way, and then we'll get into tonight's guests. Like I say, hold your gut because you're going to be laughing a little bit tonight. I think that's going to be a good thing, especially like I say, with the way things are going these days. On last week's show, we were joined by Hap Wilson, Brad Jennings, and John from Lost Lakes, and we had a rather good discussion about the Ontario Parks pilot program, their fee structuring program that they're running in two parks, the Massasauga Provincial Park and Temagami Cluster of Parks. And it's a program that a lot of people find not to be very fair, and a lot of people say it suits them good because they travel with bigger groups. We're not going to get into that whole discussion tonight because thankfully right now there's a lot of buzz going on out there about this whole topic, whether it's on the news, a lot on the radio. Mr. Kevin Callender himself is being interviewed up the yin yang about this whole pilot program. And let's just hope that it doesn't fall on deaf ears. Let's hope that Ontario Parks hears our plunders, or whatever you want to call it. Let's hope they hear our voices, and that they do make the right changes to implement a system that is fair for everybody across the boards. I know they'll never please everybody, but let's hope that they can try and spread it out, because right now the way it is, it's not a fair system for everybody, and it's going to cause a lot of havoc out there. I can say that much. But if you did miss a show last week, you missed a lot. It is available as a replay in my playlist for Canoe Hounds Outdoor Adventure Show Season 2. Feel free to check it out. It's well worth watching, and all the information, if you're interested in signing the petition to try and stop this particular pilot program from becoming a reality in the future, let your voice be heard. Get on there and sign that. It's for some and it's not for others, so that's a good thing. Let's see here. Many of you have asked, and I listened, as I always do. I've had many people ask me about having a website and where they could find my website, and I've never had a website for Canoe Hound Adventures up until now. Yesterday, we launched our CanoeHoundAdventures.com or .ca, CanoeHoundAdventures.com or .ca, and this is kind of what it looks like right here. Right now, it's in its infancy, so it's going to be going through a growth spurt here over, I guess we'll say, over the summer and from now on. But right now, we got a blog on there with a couple of good blogs that you can read. If you want to learn a little bit about Canoe Hound, there's a About Us section, or you could also contact us, and then all the socials are on there and stuff like that. So feel free to check that out. As I mentioned, I'm just going to put the link up here on the screen in case you want to check it out. It's CanoeHoundAdventures.com. Drop me a note. Let me know what you'd like to see me put on the website. Just like the show here, you can also let me know through the website what you'd like to see on the show, upcoming shows, guests, things of that sort. It's a great way for us to communicate back and forth. So I look forward to seeing what you send me. You know what? I'm always up for that. You know that. Just a reminder to all of my channel members. I sent out an email today about a live stream that I'm putting on for you all tomorrow night. It's a private members-only live stream. You should have got your invitation. If you didn't, let me know at canoehound@gmail.com. I'll make sure you have the link to get in. Tomorrow night, we're going to be doing our draw for the $400 plus swag package, which consists of all this stuff. There's an Ursack, we got coffee, some beard products, all kinds of products from our friends over at Kid Products, Great Signs and Graphics, Canoe Hound Adventures, Billy Bellows, or Algonquin Outfitters. There's all kinds of neat stuff in there. And one lucky winner is going to walk away with this whole package. Values approximately $450 plus shipping to get it to you. So as I mentioned, that is a members only, a channel members only thing. And if you're wondering what a channel membership is, well, if you click the little button down here that you'll see if you're on YouTube, it says join. On there, you have 3 different ways that you could join as a member. One is a day paddler, one is a day tripper, weekend tripper, or a solo tripper. And each of them come at different levels with different perks. If you take a look in the chat down below, you can see that there's some all kinds of emojis or special emojis that you get. You get channel membership stickers and all kinds of little bonuses and perks. So if it's something you're interested in, feel free to check it out. Just to let you know, it's not too late to become part of the draw that we're doing tomorrow. Okay, you have until midnight tonight to join. You'll get 1 ballot for the day tripper, you'll get 3 for weekend, and you'll get 7 ballots for the solo tripper level. So make sure, if you want to be a part to try and win that great prize that we're going to be giving away tomorrow night on a members only stream, you got to have a ticket to get in, right? So let me know. And if you do sign up tonight, all I ask too is also when you do join as a channel member, that you send me your mailing address, because I have to get your perks started. I'll send you your welcome letter and stickers and stuff like that. But send it to Gmail or canoehound@gmail.com, and I'll get everything out to you. But I need your full address and mailing address. The only thing I use it for is actually to send you your perks. Okay, I promise I will not share or spam email you or anything like that. That's not what I'm all about. So Yeah. So that was pretty long-winded, and that will be that. But feel free, like I say, if you would like to, get in there and join and take advantage of the perks that Canoehounds Outdoor Adventure Show has to offer. Also wanted to say a special thanks to all my business sponsors who made this draw possible. Without you donating some swag and stuff like that, you've given something and helps me give back to my viewers, my subscribers. So thanks very much, guys. I'm not even going to talk about our iron-on patches. Everybody knows we got patches for sale, 2 for $10, and stickers and stuff, and that's whatever. Anyways, 2 more things. If you have any hot topics or guests that you'd like to see on the show, drop me an email at canoehound@gmail.com, or go to our website and drop it through the form there and let me know, and I'll see what I can do to make that happen. And then again, if you have any questions for tonight's guest or myself, there's 2 ways you can get your questions across. One is you can put it in the chat over there with the word question in capital letters beforehand so I can see it, but that doesn't always guarantee it's going to get on the screen. One way you can guarantee your question will get answered is join us after the swag giveaway tonight. Keep your ears open because the answer to tonight's swag question will be on or will be mentioned a couple times. So, yeah, but anyways, if you want your questions answered, feel free to join us on screen. It's super simple to set up. I'll put the link in later. It's very easy to get on here. And you know what? Don't be shy. You're just talking to a computer and a few people can see you. What's the worst can happen, right? Anyways, enough of this babbling. Let's get on with tonight's topic and guest. Tonight, we are joined by a rather interesting individual. How many of you can say that you paddled across Canada? Not once, but twice. Well, the guy that's going to be on the show tonight, he's done it, okay? He's paddled across twice, and I believe he may even be thinking about doing it again. That's somebody that's got a lot of time on his hands, right? He and his dog Spitzy are a fan favorite at outdoor shows, and he always has an exciting story to share. A true Canadian voyageur, please welcome to the live stream, Mr. Mike Ranta. How you doing, Mike?
Hey, how you doing, Dennis? We're doing fantastic over here, Tony.
I've been looking forward to getting you on the show here for 2 years now.
Yeah, and I've been wanting to get on. Well, the first time we tried it, of course, I get frustrated, and I'm about as computer illiterate as they get. I still think a megabyte's a bear and a gigabyte's a mosquito, right? So I have a tough time getting onto things. But yeah, we figured it out. You walked me through it, and we got her done. And Spitzy helped you.
You know what? Every time when I was walking you through the whole process, and then our chat before the show, and yeah, man, you got me grinning ear to ear, so that's a good thing.
Right on. That's what we're all about here.
Yeah, and especially after last week's show, which was like quite serious, right? Like, you know, I don't usually get political on this show. I like the fun stuff, right? And after last week's show, I had to have something funny on here too. So
yeah, we all need that a little bit. I've been doing lots of live feeds on Facebook and stuff like that, and having a laugh. And yeah, it's something that I think we all need to have a little bit of a giggle every once in a while. And during what's going on here now, I think it's more needed more than ever.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, lots of fun. I just love it
on Facebook too, right?
What's that?
You've got a lot of people following you on Facebook.
Yeah,
I watch your lives all the time on Facebook or whenever I catch them. And you got a lot of people drifting in and out.
I do. There's one show I had going there, and they had I had over 15,000 viewers at one time, so I was having a pretty good fun with it. And,
oh my, 15,000.
Yeah, that views reached. So I was pretty impressed by all that. And like I said, just going out and having a little bit of fun, right?
Yeah.
And you know, again, that's what it's all about. And yeah, having the experiences that I have, I got 1,000 stories to tell.
Yeah.
And it seems like every time I meet up with people who mention something or throw me a little comment, I pick up on another one, right?
Yeah.
But I've just been blessed with having the ability to paddle like I can, you know, and doing it for appreciation of our First Nations, our veterans, and our first responders that we have out there, you know. And now more than ever, I think we're really starting to realize just how amazing these Canadians are that we have in our society, and just having the ability to say thanks.
For sure. We'll probably get into a bit about that, about what you do for the veterans and the First Nations there to, you know, fundraising efforts and bringing awareness and stuff like that. But first, let's find out a little bit about you, Mr. Ranta. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, where were you born? Where are you from? Where are you living? Well, maybe
Well,
not.
I was
address.
born in I was actually born in Fort Francis, Ontario. That's up by it's about maybe 350 kilometers west of Thunder Bay, and grew up in a little small town not far from there, Atikokan, which happens to be the canoeing capital of Canada. And yeah, I got into canoeing at a very young age. I was I was mentored by some amazing people in my life. Don and Joe Meany were big influences. They were legendary paddlers in my hometown, along with Bobby Davidson and my father, amazing bushman. And we just had this opportunity and just kind of fell in love with it. And like I said, being growing up in the bush around Atikokan, there was it was just second nature to be in the bush like that. And then moving here to Killarney after in 2017, and it was probably the best move I could have made. It was just it's been an amazing place here. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun building the world's biggest paddle here. Getting on, we started paddling cross country in 2011 when we did Rocky Mountain House to Montreal. And I like to say that's where we got bit with the bug,
Yeah.
And I always wanted to see how much farther can I go, So I started looking into it, and I thought, wow, nobody did in one season from Vancouver to Cape Breton, And I'm thinking,
let's talk about that. Let's talk about your first trip. Okay, how do you come about saying, yeah, I'm going to paddle across Canada? I just heard people walking or running or cycling, but canoeing across Canada.
Well, I figured getting in a canoe, you could move a hell of a lot faster than you can running, right? So I was looking at it. In my 2011 trip, I went Rocky Mountain House to Montreal in 130 days, and I wasn't tired. I felt really good, and I thought, looking down that St. Lawrence River, I thought I could have kept going, and I thought, there's Cape Breton. So I started looking into it thinking, you know what? I'm going to try to do coast to coast. Nobody's ever done it.
Mm-hmm.
So I threw it at a few people, and they were just like, Mike, wow, you bit off lots when you took the Rocky Mountain House to Montreal thing. It's impossible to do this. And I thought, okay, well, there's a challenge. We got to give this a whirl now, right? And the thing is, kept it in mind that, I didn't do it to prove anybody else, prove others wrong. I did it to prove myself right, and it was simple. I did it for a youth center. And I wanted to show the youth in our community and around that, if you stay honest, strong, and true, and truly believe in what you're doing, you can accomplish anything. So yeah, I busted over the mountains. I made a little cart for my canoe. I put 2 wheels on it, and I practiced and I trained, and I got after it. And I was that close. In 2014, I was 150 kilometers away from Cape Breton Islands, and I had to stop my trip because of a hurricane and blizzard came in, right? So I was like, yeah, I was 214 days out, but I was successful. I did get to the other coast, not where I wanted to go, but I just about made it, right? Yeah. So it was cool. It was a real eye opener. It was an amazing trip. I got to meet some amazing people along the way. And it sounds cliche, but it's true. It is the people that you do meet along your journey and the experiences that you have. And it just makes you want to look a little farther down that road in these portages. And you want to look a little farther down that river to see what's around that next corner. Not in fear, but in sheer curiosity. And, and the way I explained that trip is it was the best in Vancouver, but it just got better from there.
Yeah.
And that's what Canada was about, and I met every race, religion, kind of people right across this country, and they all treated me the same. And a huge hats off, especially to our First Nations. I went into all these little communities and stopped in, and it was always the same response with them. It's like, hey, what are you doing? Come in, tell us your story. And I got food, water. It was just so heartwarming to experience that, right? And it just opened up. It really opened up me for keep doing this. It gets better and better every time.
Well, what kind of attention does that garner? What type of attention did you get from the media? Did you have people following you around? Getting your story type of thing.
Yeah, it was. I found that I had a lot more media when I was doing it for the youth. When I started doing it for the youth centers and stuff. And then in 2015, when I did it the second time, I lost some really good friends that were in the military. And they were in that North Korean era, the World War II era. And, they really meant a lot to me. And I really wanted to say thanks to them, because they really did, help me do what I wanted to do. And I was so thankful for what they did so I could do what I could do. So I started paddling for them. And I quickly found out that when you put the veterans involved, and I don't know why it is, but the media tends to stay away from you. The bigger media did. Yeah, I had a few little interviews here and there, but when I set the world record for paddling the longest solo canoe paddle in the world in Canada, being where we're at, yeah, I was a little bit disappointed that I couldn't buy a TV interview, right? And that seemed to be the excuse that it was. It was that it wasn't the attention that they were looking for, right? So yeah, that was kind of disappointing that way. But you know, persistence overcomes resistance, right? Stay positive, stay strong, and just keep moving. You know, and that's what we keep doing. And now we're starting to get an eye out of what we want to do.
So you didn't get the media attention that you probably would have liked, because it is kind of a big thing. So what do? You turn around and you do it all over again.
Exactly. And I thought, well, I mean, they were just kind of thinking, all right, phew, okay, he did it. Okay, maybe it'll wash away. And then they were like, what? He's doing it again. Okay. We're back at this again, are we?
Yeah, so what prompted you to like what prompted Mike Ranta to say, hey, I think I want to do this again?
Well, I mean, it wasn't the aches and pains that I experienced, but it was the fact that I didn't make it to Cape Breton. You know, and that's what I was shooting for. And I mean, Cape Breton is a jewel in the crown of Canada. It really is. It's such a unique. When I got that ride there, I was like, damn, you know, and I was thinking it almost felt like a failure to me in a way. I know it wasn't. It was a successful trip. I come back with all my fingers and toes. Spitzy was safe. And so, yeah, I talked it over with Spitz, and he said, you know, let's find a shorter route. Spitz is my dog, by the way. And yes, we do talk a lot.
He's awesome. I met him a couple times.
Not only in navigation, he's the brains of it. I'm just the bronze behind. I'm just the motor, right? So I found a shorter route across the southern part of the prairies through the Capel Valley, and I cut off 2 weeks. And yeah, in 2016, I predicted to the youth center in my hometown. I said, hey, I'm going to do this in 200 days. And again, there was the same people that were like, wow, Mike, okay, no, you tried this once, you never made it. How are you going to possibly do it again, right? But I did. I pulled it off, and I did. I did it in exactly 200 days. I made it to Dominion Beach in Cape Breton. My father was there. My brother was there. I don't think I've ever felt more proud to get across.
I guess.
And again, yeah, I broke my old record. So
yeah, that's awesome.
But again, I was doing it for veterans, and it was a tough one to get across to some of the media outlets to come down and say hello.
Sure.
But again, I think it's just a matter of time. They're going to recognize, and I think the government too is going to recognize. I'm not here to point fingers, elbows, or toes, but and to press on an issue. I'm also addressing an issue that I think we found, but I think I might have found that together we might have found a solution to it. You know, and or at least some part of it that's going to help some people. So that's what we really want to get across. And it's cool. And then since that, we've been recognized with the Meritorious Service Medal of Canada. We got to reach out. So I was like, wow, you know, this is from our Governor General, and they like the ideas, what we're doing. And, you know, and now I think I'm going to get my sit down, you know, and I think that's once they realize that I'm here for the good of us all kind of a deal, and, you know, going to have some fun with it. And be able to help out our fellow countrymen in a rather unique Canadian way. Yeah, I think it's just going to be a win-win right across the board.
That's great, man. That's very heartfelt too. That you actually, you know, you want to take this on to benefit the greater good.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. You know, I think as Canadians we all can give a little bit more. You know, just especially when it comes to our veterans. You know, let's step up. Let's help these people out. You know, there's no excuses now anymore. You know, these are the people who give us our lives and our way of life and our values that we could cherish so well here in Canada. You know, there's so many of them out there that are willing to give up everything just so we can have that. And for that, we owe them that.
Well, at least I commend you for wearing that poppy on your hat all the time. That's
oh, absolutely, I do it. I wear 365 a year. Absolutely, very proud of that. And you know, that's just it. It's just showing that support. And you know, when you see a veteran, yeah, damn straight, I buy him a coffee when I see him in line. I'll you know, if they're having a meal, yeah, you betcha, I'll pick up their tab if I have the opportunity. And it's just those little things to show that, you know, we got that love and compassion in this country, that, you know, they really need our support, and we can help what we can.
Yeah, for sure. So we're gonna get into, you got all kinds of killer stories from these like 2 long journeys, right? But first thing I want to ask before we get into these stories, some that'll make people's hats flip right off, right? Is what kind of planning goes into a cross Canada trip? Like, a lot of people get all in a tizzy if they're planning a 1 week or a 2 week trip to Algonquin.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
The scale of traveling from one coast to the other by canoe, how long does that take to plan out?
Well, first of all, you got to realize you need some time off work. It's you're getting onto it, and it's realizing just exactly what you're getting into. Also, again, being blessed growing up in Atikokan, we had Quetico Park, and some of the toughest area that you can be around in Canada is that northern part of that Canadian Shield up there. The bugs are horrendous. The portages are steep and rough, and you know, sometimes you got to be a billy goat to get around things. So for us to do that there, my whole life being in the bush with my father and friends, we were playing in the most toughest part of Canada. We didn't know it. You know, then when you get out and you take on these trips, you start going down these rivers, and the toughest part of that is making that first step. And then getting through those aches and the pains of the first week, because, you know, you put your body, my first portage in my 2014 trip took me 6 days to get up to Hope. And then my first portage was 195 kilometers. And that was from Hope to Princeton. And I mean, that was over several mountain ranges, right? The first hill was 80 kilometers at 8 degrees. It was just 4 days of just going, right? I never climbed a hill like that before. I had no idea what I was doing when I first started. I just knew that I had this determination. I've had a lot of good people that were behind me, and I had a lot of things to look forward to getting it done. And I had my dog Spitzy. And I mean, for him, like, he was just, come on, Dad, we got this. He wouldn't carry much. He'd help me pull a few times going up the hill. He walked just as much as I did. But you know, and then there was that, always keeping in the back of our mind our veterans, our youth, and realizing that we're setting an example. And we you know, and there's a personal pride to it, you know. And you got to be able to laugh. That's the thing. Sure. You got to be able to laugh at the aches and the pains, and you know, some mornings you couldn't get up. You have to laugh at that.
I feel them now, and I'm not even portaging. So you talk about portaging now. You're telling me, and I've heard this before, you had one portage. Like you just mentioned, like 190 kilometer and an 80 kilometer portage, but that's not the tip of the iceberg. What's the biggest portage you've ever done?
No, actually, that's going across BC. That's kind of a short little jaunt there. And some of them, in 2017, David Jackson and I, a really good friend of mine, he's an amazing photographer and an amazing bushman. So he was a young fella. He was 23 at the time. I was 46. We're exactly half each other's age. And we decided, he said, I'm going to follow you on one of these trips. And I said, well, my next one's going from Bella Coola to Cape Breton. I was going to try for my third time going across Canada. So our first portage was from Bella Coola to Kinbasket Lake, which was 880 kilometers.
880
it was incredible. Yeah, so it took us 30 days. And I mean, it was a grind. It was an absolute grind. I mean, this is going right across, mid-central BC. There's very rare there was a flat spot, right? So it was, So like I said, 30 days. I can't say enough about David Jackson. Like, I mean, there's very few people that I've had that could keep up with what I do. I mean, I'm a bulldog when it comes down to it. I set forward and I go, and David not only kept up with me, a lot of times he ran ahead and he took pictures, took some amazing photographs. You could see at davidjacksonphoto.com. And it's just an amazing array of photos that he took. And it was just a real pleasure to paddle with this guy. But yeah, that was an intense, long portage. It was really, it was really intense. I blew, I got shin splints at one time. The blisters were incredible. There was a couple of, we got to Williams Lake. We had to take a couple of days off just to rest, to get that ache out of a guy's bones. Right. Yeah. But yeah, that that was pretty epic portage. I was pretty proud of that one.
I think 880 kilometers, that blows my mind, man. I can't,
Yeah.
You know what? I will never, ever complain on a portage again, Mike. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I told people that. People said, "Oh, this one was almost a mile long," and I'm just like, "Yeah."
All got deaf ears, right?
I got a story. I'm not a story topper, but I will top that one.
Yeah. I just posted a comment here on screen. Wild Canoe says, check out Mike Ranta's YouTube channel. I had the honor of editing his footage a few years ago before the last John across Canada. Lots of cool footage and stories in those videos. By all means.
Yes, that would be my friend Haley and the Sonatag family.
Yeah.
Amazing girl. She does wild canoes. She's a solo girl in the bush, and the Sonatag family is pretty well known around these parts too, with the Edge Killarney being what they got on the go. Really outdoor, amazing family, as Canadian as they get. Just
that would be a
really
great family to have on the show here one week. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd have a laugh with them. They pick on each other a lot. So I mean,
I met cousin Marion Zero one time there, and she seemed pretty receptive to it. So maybe I'll have to reach out there, and we'll set.
Yeah, absolutely. You won't go anything wrong having those people on. That's for sure.
Yeah, dude, I'm sorry, I still can't fathom 880 kilometers. to me, I don't even travel that far to go canoeing.
Yeah, no doubt.
It was a portage. Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like I said, it's a hell of a thing to have under belt. That's for sure.
How many pairs of hiking boots did you blow through on that?
Actually, I just had the one pair. I got the Dunlop rubber boots, and I wore the heels right down on them. They were at an edge. Like I still have them here, and actually, I got one pair in the museum in Atikokan, Ontario.
There you go.
And that was the first pair when I wore the heels right off them.
Oh, wow.
So dragging
along your journeys there, you've got, like, obviously, if you're traveling from one side of Canada to the other in 200 days, you got to be experiencing some things that are like I heard a story of the moose.
Oh yes, I rescued a baby moose. That was on the Qu'Appelle River in Saskatchewan. It was a crazy. I just set up with a camera. I'm the worst cameraman ever. I very rarely I ever have a video camera on. I just happened to turn it on, and I looked up, and there was a mama moose with twin calves, brand new little ones. They couldn't have been no more than a week old. I come around the corner. They got startled. Mama took off one calf shoulder, and the other one just kind of ran in front of me and disappeared. And I was like, where the heck did this thing go? It was just little, right? And I knew it ran in the river, but. And then I looked over on the side, and there he was, caught up in some brush that was from a previous flood from last year, and he was getting swept under. And all I could see was a little pair of ears. And I was like, oh man, I felt obligated because I caused this, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, you could see the video on YouTube where I back over there. Spitz is cool, as calm as ever, but he knows too. The most dangerous animal in the bush is a mama moose. They don't bluff when they're coming at you, and when a mother moose spanks you in the ass 3 times, that means your tongue's probably going to start bleeding. they're very powerful. A mother spanking is probably around 10 psi, where a mother moose is probably around 1200. So they're not a happy animal. But I think with my experiences, I end up talking to her. I put that sense out there that I wasn't doing harm. I was trying to do good. And I actually got the little fella in my canoe, and I always wanted to have a little baby moose in my lap, and I'll be damned if I had an opportunity. Yeah. And he went up on the hill, and he got away, and I got out of there because, again, I was so nervous about that mother moose. I was a very dangerous animal. And then I could hear her honking at him and him honking back. And it was pretty cool because, they did get back together, and it was distinct. I could hear that mother was giving her, it was a little bull, he was giving her son hell. Because I know that tone, just like anybody does.
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
What were you thinking? You're lucky that guy didn't take you in. But it was probably one of my most proudest moments, honestly. Yeah, you bet. I got to help a little one survive. I hope he's doing well. It was a nice, healthy little moose, and hopefully he got on his way and learned his lesson a little bit. That not everybody's out to get him, kind of a deal. But
I remember a story that Hap Wilson told us there when he was on there, how he actually he had to fight a moose, or he had to box a moose, right?
Oh, wow.
For whatever reason. But this here really takes the cake because, yeah, man, if you're, Mama could have been not too happy.
I don't know,
with
Boston
you.
with a moose. I'd have to take my hats off to hap on that one. I wouldn't.
It makes you wonder if she
step
actually
in
knew
that
what was going on, that you were actually there to help, right? I believe,
Yeah,
I believe that.
I think I was really lucky that she had another calf with her.
Yeah.
Because it's why ducks have so many little ones, right? They just kind of, okay, well, that one's got lost now, eh? And I think she was protecting that little one too. I would have hated to test those waters out if it would have been just a lone calf on that. I think there would have been a lot more trouble on that. But again, it's reading the animals and myself knowing the animals, being in the bush my whole life. You kind of get a good sense of things, right? And animals are just like people. We all have different personalities and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. It was a pretty fun trip.
Oh, I wonder if the moose would remember that. Probably not.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I don't know. Next time I go through Saskatchewan, if I see one, I'll wave, baby.
Yeah, it comes trotting out of the bush.
It's a big bull, eh? Yeah, how you doing?
I remember you. There's that guy with the birch bark hat. Hey, buddy.
Maybe he can come up to me on a traffic accident or something and revive me.
Yeah, I seen somebody asking earlier in the chat about that too. About what's the story on the hat?
The hat, gee, I came up with that in my, I think it was about 2013. I was looking at the bark and everything. I started, I always worked with birch bark and stuff like that. I made a few little things, baskets and, wallet and stuff like that. And I thought, I wonder what a hat would feel like. So I made my first one. It didn't fit right. So then I put it on there and I was just like, wow. And then the bark curled up and it went all pointy on it. And I went, this looks pretty cool. It's like one of those triangle ones, right?
Yeah.
And then I wore the first one to a talk I was doing for kids. And the kids thought, wow, you look like a pirate, eh? And they all just had a laugh with it. And I thought, okay, I got to go along with this, right? And I thought, well, if you're going to try to get the attention for something, you got to do something a little bit unique and a little bit off the charts a little bit. And you know what? It's broken the ice so many times in conversations where people who want to, where they'll be looking at me going, what in the hell? And I say, yeah, you're looking at my hat, right? Then I get to speak about the veterans and I get to talk about the youth center and the priorities of our First Nations and stuff like that, and strike up a good conversation. And at the same time, if I'm going to talk about the bush and show somebody something, I got to think it's there too. Mm-hmm. And when you can utilize the bush for something that's just as simple as that and get the conversation and the ball rolling, then hey, yeah, it's doing its job, and I do have a lot of fun with it. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's become synonymous with Mike Ranta. Hey, you see him at the shows or something. He's wearing a hat. Right? Do a web search for Mike there on Google, and 95% of the pictures that you're featured in, you got the hat on, right? So
absolutely, yeah, I'm pretty proud of that too. I love the look of it all, and like I said, it's unique and it just throws a unique look to everything that I'm trying to do, and people can relate.
Lumber jacket, right? So,
oh yeah, I gotta have
over here, Bushman.
Yeah, Bushman, and you gotta have your slingshot ready all the time.
I was not expecting that.
You just never know. It's not loaded, so it's okay. And I don't got to register.
You seriously wear that all the time?
Oh, I got it always on right there, just in case. Hey, we got monarch butterflies around these parts, so they're dangerous. And those murder hornets are moving in.
That. I told you, everybody. There's got to be a bunch of people out there right now curled up with a little dribble coming out of their shirt, right? So.
Well, when I could whip this thing out quick enough, and I could part a guy's head at 100 yards, or part a guy's hair with it like nothing.
Yeah.
That's just in case the bears come around too, right?
Yeah.
I usually use it for distance. If one's getting a little, I'll put one off, they'll rattle one off in front of him and just say, hey, don't let me unleash the hound.
There we go. Norma Vince says she thinks the hat depicts the personality perfectly.
Oh, right on.
That's awesome.
I'll cheers to that one, that's for sure.
Yeah. I'm still on my coffee from my sponsor, so I'm going to finish this, and I'm going to crack a beer with you in the second half of the show for sure.
Cool deal. I wish I could have threw you a little Manitoulin brewery down that way if I would have known.
I got to be careful because if I take a sip of something and you say the right thing, it's coming out my nose, right? So
let me see if we can pull that off this show. This
no. That wouldn't be cool.
Yeah.
Might be funny, but it wouldn't be cool. That's for sure. So like you've on these trips, I know you've had some mishaps of Mitzi as well.
Oh yes, yeah. Like Spitz, he's like I said. I'll give you a little history of it. Spitz has been with me since he was 6 weeks old. I got him out of Gladstone, Manitoba, and they were actually going to put him down because he had the white in his chest. She was a very eccentric breeder. So what ended up happening after about 6 hours of arguing and discussion, she realized that if I overpaid her, I could get the dog, right? So that's what I did. And it was pretty cool. But Spitzy and I have been around for a while. We've had several instances with wolves and coyotes. That's his biggest enemy out there. I keep him in touch with, I keep him protected that way. He keeps the bears away from me. And all in all, between the two of us, we're doing this for the animals' sake more than anything. Right?
Right.
If anything messes with us a little too much, we're going to put it in a dinner plate. That's for sure. We're, you got to have that frame of mind out there. It's good to be that funny guy and everything, but when you're being challenged by a wild animal, yeah, you got to be meaner than that. And sometimes we got to switch that mode on. And there's been a few times where we had to pull it off. Spitzy was run off from me twice with wolves. Once on the Atikokan River in 2011, and another time in 2016 outside of Thunder Bay, where I flipped the canoe in a set of rapids. I got the canoe and him to shore. Of course, my first priority all the time is Spitzy. So I got him up on the shore. I had the canoe tied off. I said, wait here, boy. And he was kind of freaked out a little bit, flipping in the rapids and all. And then I went back. I got things out of the canoe. It took me just a few minutes, got the canoe up, and I went back to look for him. And then all of a sudden, he was gone. And I was like, where the hell did he go? And I walked over that hump of the bank. It was really windy. And right away, pow, I could smell that real damp, wet dog wolf smell. It wasn't Spitzy. Oh. And I panicked. I was running around just screaming, where is he at? And he just disappeared. Still to this day, I don't know whether he did that to draw them away from me or if they put the run on him. But he ended up missing overnight. I put the all points bulletin out. Half of Thunder Bay came out. Firefighters, police officers, so many people came out to help. Actually, it was my uncle Bert found him 2 kilometers downriver from me. I didn't think this was going to be a good find. I honestly, when he was gone overnight, my cousin Renee came down, my cousin Tracy came down. I was just absolutely heartbroken, right? I just thought, I just lost my best friend. It was so disheartening when he was gone overnight. So I don't know what had happened or how, but I got the call and they said, yeah, we found him. And I was just, how bad? And they said, no, he's alive. And I said, well, get him over here. I'm going to kill him. That was my first response, right? And I met him. It was, yeah, you bet. I'm not ashamed. I was crying like a baby. I was like, oh wow.
Yeah.
And so it was pretty unique.
I was gonna say, did you give him that mama bear attitude there?
Oh yeah, absolutely right. And I was just like, what the hell were you thinking? Why did you get away from me? But we got things on the go. It was another day and a half later, but thanks to the people of Thunder Bay and the surrounding area, and again, the police officers and the firefighters that came out, and everybody just pulled together. It's a high Finn population in Thunder Bay. Spitzy's the national dog of Finland, and he was representing. He just got he just got presented the Ambassador of the Year award from the Finnish Spitz Society, first time handed out in Canada. So they weren't going to let this dog. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was. It was just incredible, right? It was just a real feel-good story by the end of it. Now, then Spitz and I both learned a lesson. Yeah. And ever since then, we've had a few instances with wolves and coyotes, but not ones that we couldn't handle, and we worked together on it. And again, we've had several instances with bears also. Just this last summer, we had one poke his head right underneath her tent, and I could have backhanded him, right? We were down on the Harricana River going up that beast of a river. And he just happened to come up on us. And I could tell by the look in that bear's face, I was the very first human being that he ever seen. It was about a 2.5 or 3.5-year-old bear. And when he looked at me, he looked so confused and just, oh, wow, this is not what I thought that smell was.
I was just going to say a bear looking at a bear, right?
Yeah, you know, he kind of looked under this big green mushroom of a tent and just looked over, and there I am, stinking, reading a book. Goes, hey, get out of here! What the hell? And
What the hell is this thing wearing a birch bark hat?
Yeah. So I don't know what the hell I'm going to tell my friends. They're not going to believe me, right?
Yeah.
Is he going upriver? Yeah. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. He's probably sick or something.
Sorry, wrong one there. PK 1758. That's cool. Anyway, this is the one I really meant to click on. Tina Dish wants to know if you have any good canoe jokes.
Oh, not really. I don't know. I should have more of them. I've never really thought of it.
You would think, right?
I'm usually doing recites and stuff like that, and most of the jokes just kind of happen as I go. Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't really have any good canoe jokes. Not clean ones, anyway.
Okay, let's see here. We got another question here. I like taking questions from the people in the chat because, you know, it gets air across too, right? But, great to hear your story, Mike. How do you supply a trip across the country? Have you written a book, or are you waiting for the movie?
Well, for food supply, honestly, I do eat a lot off the land, depending where I'm at. I do try to get supplies as I go. I eat a lot of porridge, a lot of dried goods, lots of fish, and yeah, just kind of get it in you and go. As for a book, yes, I do have a book written. It's called Mike and Spit's Great Canadian Adventure. I haven't got any copies right now. They're not cheap to put books out, that's for sure. But I do have it on Kindle. So we can look at it there. I am in the process of writing a second book, and there has been some inquiries about doing a show on what I've pulled off, and I'm still doing more. So my goal is to get up to that third coast of Canada, up to the Tukliaktuk. So fingers crossed. I was hoping to do it this year. It doesn't look like it again this year that we're supposed to do it last year. Looks like this year is going to be a tough gig. So there's always that other year, right?
There's always that other year. There's always tomorrow, we hope, right? So,
yeah, you know, it's like I said, it's just so tough to make plans on stuff like this, and you know, everybody's being told to stay home and do your thing, but you know, I'm not a guy to sit on my hands, so, and I think being in the bush and in a canoe is probably the most safest and the best way to build immunity and keep the sanity of things. That's for sure.
Yeah. Geez. So you've got some other interesting stories. Give us a couple, Ribbit.
Okay. Well, there's one. I've had some pretty interesting experiences happen in my life, but last summer really took the cake. And I've had things freak me out. You know, when you sleep in the bush by yourself, you're constantly hearing, you know. I always say, you know, you can sleep with one eye open and you can hear a church mouse pissing on a cotton ball from any length of time, right? It's just, you get these senses brought up. But nothing surprised me more than last summer when Spitz and I got into this routine paddling up the Harricana River. It was loud, you couldn't hear much. But we always got into the routine. We'd go right up until nightfall. We'd make our tent, set everything up, have a bite to eat, go to sleep. At around between 3 and 5 o'clock in the morning, pending, I'd let Spitzy outside. And he would do his little tour thing, and then I would open up the tent or lift up the flap, and he would come back in. We do this religiously for a couple of weeks, so you just get into the routine. And this is the most freakiest thing I ever had happen to me. So it was raining light one night, and Spitz woke me up, and I was half asleep. The rain really puts me to bed. I don't know, it just trickles down on me, and I slip into a coma. So Spitz wakes me up. I'm half asleep. Oh, he's got to go outside. So I unzip the screen of the tent, and I'm kind of holding it with one hand. Spitzy goes out, and again, I'm just blinking. He does his little thing. I kind of sleep with the tent thing open. And then he comes back in again. So I lift the screen thing open to show him, you know, okay, come on in. And there was a frog that was probably the size of a small kid's baseball mitt. Must have crawled underneath the vestibule of the tent. And Spitzy just about landed on him. And yeah, it just, pow, it landed right on my face. And I don't know how to describe that feeling. You know, when you're half asleep and then something like that lands on your face, and your first instinct, like anybody, would be like like that. And when you can't breathe in and you got the whole bottom part of a frog stuck in your face, and he's trying to pull himself up, so he's got these hands on your eyelids, trying to push himself off this unknown suction, and I'm trying to lift myself up. Yeah, it was a mess anyway. I was having a hell of a time. It freaked me out because I'm thinking, what the hell is this thing on my face? I can't open up my eyes. I'm struggling. And I literally licked the hell out of the bottom of this toad's belly and just up. And then he's running around. Spitz is freaking out. And I'm trying to get this damn. So now I'm up. I felt like kind of what that guy felt like on Alien when it slapped onto his face. Just for that brief moment, I knew what that actor was feeling. It was horrific. So yeah,
that boot on Facebook says midnight snack.
Yeah. Well, hey, Suzanne, how you doing, girl? Yeah, it would have been a midnight snack, all right. And I don't know about them Colorado toads that you lick and get high, but I never got nothing off of this frog, like nothing.
I got tears in my freaking eyes. I knew this was going to happen tonight.
So, there has been some pretty unique instances, that's for sure.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So you became a prince that night.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was just, hopefully if I kissed this thing, like I said, it would have been nice if something would have popped out of it. It would have been like, whoa, hey, a princess. Okay, thank God it was a female frog.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know leopard frogs got that big, really.
I really can't say if it was a leopard frog. I would say kind of it was because not that I've licked a lot of leopard frogs, but it had the consistency of a belly, right? It didn't feel like a toad.
It didn't feel a good thing. Yeah. You end up with a wart on your nose.
I probably would have been a hell of a lot more. That would have been a worse situation.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. So you've got. How do you even segue to that one, right? Like how do you move on?
Well,
so right now you're in the midst of you're working on a rather large project up there in Killarney.
Yes, absolutely. The Big Dipper. Thanks to Rob Warling, we got that name put onto it. One of our guys that helped us out down here in Killarney with videoing stuff and all that fun stuff. But yeah, a huge thanks to Herbert's Fisheries. This is actually the place that I'm in here right now. This is the net shed. Gave me the opportunity to build this monstrosity of a paddle, which is 110 feet long. It's being registered right now as we speak in the Guinness Book of World Records, and we're supposed to hear from them back shortly to say we got it. And so I'm working on it this summer to do the finishing touches on it. We've got a time capsule that's going into it, so we're encouraging people to put something into the size of your fist, as big as your heart. To say something positive. What would you say to somebody 200 years from now? This is how long we're sealing this thing up. And and again, and it's a place I want to be able to set up. I want to put some benches down there. And it's a place for somebody who wants to come honor a veteran, a friend, just a family member, just a place to show a little bit of honor, to burn some and play some tobacco, and just say thanks to an amazing group of people. And I'm building this for appreciation of our World War II men and women. Just saying thanks to the generation that we're losing so fast, and we owe them so much. We really do. And yeah, so it's an amazing honor to say thank you to these guys this way, and it's nothing compared to what they sacrificed in their generation and their life of things. And yeah, so it's a real honor and I can't say not enough about Holden Rhodes and the Killarney Mountain Lodge and the family down here. Just an amazing group of people who really seen my vision. I took a chance on this crazy old kid to build something of this monstrosity. It wasn't a Dragon's Den moment by any means when I presented this with him. We were just having a couple of beers, and I said, "Hey, I'd like to build this big paddle," and he's just like, "Really? Sure."
Yeah. So what's the previous record? Is there a previous record? World record for
absolutely. When I started this, I didn't realize it, but there's a guy by the name of Mark Teasdale in Golden, BC, who has a 60-foot one.
Okay.
So we just about doubled it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I did kind of feel bad about it, but in a way, we're doing this as a bent shaft paddle. It's a modern paddle, so we were going to have the largest bent shaft paddle, and they're going to be able to keep the title of the longest straight shaft paddle. And again, it's not trying to take away. Yeah, well, I mean, it's we're not trying to take away from anything with that, especially the tourism out in that way. And he's a great guy, really good person, doing things for all the right reasons also. So we'll work together on something like that for sure. And yeah, it's just it's pretty cool. But the paddle I got built, if somebody's going to build one bigger than mine, well, they're going to have trouble. See, because the last section I got put together, I didn't seal it up. So if somebody tries to build a 120-foot one, you betcha I'll pull that bad boy apart and put another section in there. We'll make So the way I got it figured right now, I could probably go about 200 feet before it starts looking like a stand-up paddle.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. That's great. So whereabouts is it? Like, what's the timeline? When are you expecting to have this finished, and where can people see this?
Yeah, we're going to be presenting it when we do the Killarney Mountain Lodge official opening on June 19th, 20th, and 21st. We're going to have it all finished up and stained, and hopefully with the restrictions are going to be lifted a little bit, we can have a little bit of a gathering, crush some pints, and again, just present it all up on that way, and like I said, just have some fun with it all.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. So, typically, how much lumber do you think you have into that thing?
Oh, wow. Well, I'm putting a contest on. Whoever can guess the weight of it down to whoever's closest. They get a birch bark hat and a replica paddle of the Big Dipper. And it's between 15 and 20,000 pounds.
Wow.
So it's a heavy one for sure.
Yeah. You can't give the numbers
speed, I'm not even sure. I just kind of put it together, and away we went, and again, as a community here, there's a lot of people that just help me. Jamie Pitfield and his construction crew come down to help me move a lot of the pieces and move them around, and it's just been a real pleasure to see the community come together with us with all this project and supporting what we're doing, and it's going to be a real game changer when it comes to the tourist season back again for sure.
Yeah, let's give Hubert's Fish and Chips a little bit of a plug here. Tastiest fish and chips in Ontario.
No, I disagree with that. I would say in the world.
In the world, okay.
I've eaten a lot of fish.
You gotta watch your support, man.
No, it is. I can't say enough about Ross and Jenny and Kyle and Caitlin and the family, the Herbert family. They've been so supportive of Spitz and I since we moved here to Killarney. And just can't say enough about them. They're just a really amazing family. Kyle Herbert, one of our youngest captains, he was the youngest captain on the Great Lakes at one time, knows these waters like the back of his hand. Ross is just an amazing supporter of the community, just an absolute pillar of what we have here, and a great example of what it's like to be a great Canadian. And what he does for the community and around here, and it's really heartwarming. It's great to be it's great to be on a team like that. And like I said, all the businesses around here work so fantastic together. You got the Sportsman's Inn, you got the Gateway, we got the Aunt Bee's Kitchen. The food here in Killarney is amazing. You're not leaving here without getting fattening up. That's for sure. It's just one of those places, right? But yeah, it was Herbert's Fisheries that really put the place on the map for sure with the fish and chips. And it's like I said, I've actually worked on the boats. I know how fresh those fish are when they come in, right? And it's nothing but the best that go into those fryers to make sure that go out that door. And that's why we have the reputation that we have here, for sure. And it's great to be a part of that.
Wow, you're making me hungry just talking about it. That's
oh yeah, that's it. You're not. It's worth the drive.
Fish and chips now.
Yeah, it's worth the drive into Killarney for sure. If you come to Killarney, you got to come get some fish and chips. It's just absolutely worth it. It's awesome. And not to mention, you're supporting a small business and an amazing family who does a lot for the community, and that's a big part of it. That's one of the reasons why when I got joined at the hip with Swift and Badger Paddles. It's just what they do for Canadians in general, and how much they've been supporting us and the veterans. It's just really, really heartwarming, and a good, true Canadian company. These guys aren't, they're doing it for the love of canoeing, and they're getting by on it and stuff. And it's awesome. It really is awesome.
Yeah. So with that being said, you've got some good people behind you. You mentioned Swift, you mentioned Badger Paddles. Hubert's. All this, this shows the size of Mike's heart. Okay, the work that he's doing for the veterans and the Indigenous society and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a bit more about that. What are you doing to bring awareness? What are you doing to raise financially for them? Can you explain?
Yeah.
that?
Well, for me, I on any of my trips, one of my rules of thumb was to never take cash on the road. You know, don't take anything in. If something's going to get put into there, you go immediately or go right directly to Warriors Adventure Canada or to the youth center themselves. You know, and you could put in, there's lots of ways to do things online. It's a lot safer. It shows a lot more integrity.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, then this way, you know, the money's going right directly for them. And it's what I call a true trip. You know, you got to be, you got to be able to make those sacrifices. You know, especially on the financial. All my trips that I've done, you know, my 2011, 2014, 2016 trips, all these were done out of my own pocket. And I had to make these sacrifices. If I was going to show something and really put true to heart, I really had to put them into that. And, you know, I had to put that in personally to show them, not just myself, but to others also. That, you know, if you got to set that example and be true to it, and others will follow. And it's been happening just great. We've got so many people now that are, you know, just understanding, like saying, wow, this guy is the real deal. You know, he is doing it true to heart. You could put in for something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, our Warriors Adventure Canada, it's just one of those projects. I got an opportunity to meet Jay and Justin and the guys that are running the show. You know, these are true veterans. You know, these are people, they've done their tours and they're still doing them. And, you know, and you get the opportunity to talk about the plight of some of the veterans. So, you know, when you get the opportunity to help these, it feels incredibly good to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know, every Canadian can appreciate what a veteran does. You know, all you got to do is look around where we're at. You know, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
it's not that hard to convince people to help them. That's for sure.
Yeah, here's a rather interesting PK 1758 said, just check Google Maps, and in one of the pics of Hubert's Fisheries, you can see Mike sitting at the counter.
Yeah. I do spend a lot of time there. They're open on the weekends. I can't wait till they're open. I can eat fish 8 days a week. It doesn't bother me, right? Yeah. And like I said, and they got the special batter they put on there, and oh man, it just catches you, right? It does make you want to have more. You can stuff yourself pretty fat down at that restaurant.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, here I am getting hungrier again by the minute. So mm-hmm. you're talking about like, you know, raising funds and stuff like that. You're a rather humble person, right? And you and I were talking in the green room. I asked you what you did to, like, you know, for what you do for a living. You mentioned you work for Huber's and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you also lead a very simple life.
Yeah, absolutely. It's simply complicated sometimes, I guess is a good way to put it. But I do. I travel a lot in the bush. I'm always intrigued by it. Winter, spring, summer, fall. I couldn't picture living anywhere else in the world, you know, without having all 4 seasons. But yeah, it's, you know, it's finding out the simplicities in life and then realizing, you know, there's only a few things that you really need, you know, food, clothing, shelter. And if you got good people behind you and you can make people laugh and have some smiles, it's pretty cool, you know, and it really keeps me humble in a lot of ways, you know, and that's where we're getting this huge green movement coming out, you know, and people are starting to realize that when you're in the bush, it doesn't matter how much money you got in your back pocket.
Right.
You know, you're getting, Mother Nature is going to treat you equally, no matter what. You're not going to buy a bear coming out of your camp. You're not going to buy the mosquitoes to go away, right? Everybody gets treated pretty equally, no matter what you're in. And I think that's a great way to, you know, get society to agree with each other and, you know, putting yourself on some even ground that way. And yeah, that's just kind of what I love about the bush with it at all. Yeah, absolutely. You realize that the most simplest things that you need are already right there, you know, and everything else, the material stuff is just that material. But hang on, I got somebody banging in. Hello? It's just a bunch of meatheads banging on the door again.
Okay. So what else do you do to raise awareness and funds? I know I've seen you raffle off your canoes at the Ontario or at the outdoor show. Yeah,
we've been doing that with Swift here the last few years. We'll take the canoe that I go on my trips every year. We'll bring it down and we raffle it off along with the Badger paddle here, like these ones here. I help with make with
let me put that full screen.
Badger paddles. And yeah, I put a little bit of fractal burning, put my own touch onto it.
Can you hold that up again, just so, because we're full screen now?
Yeah, absolutely. This is it right here. and that's the fractal burning that I put on it. It's kind of a woodworking deal. So yeah, I got this paddle and another one that I give away with every year that goes with the canoe with the raffle. And yeah, we take those funds and that goes toward the trips for Warriors Adventure Canada, for canoe rentals, for outdoor programs. And again, we're just trying to get as many first responders and veterans that are having PTSD issues and getting them into the bush where Mother Nature can do what she does best. And that's, the healing of the mind. I can attest to that myself. I've been through a few things in life that, that makes you really question what's out there. And it's great. Mother Nature does have 99% of the answers. That's for sure.
That's for sure. Yeah. So just want to let everybody know it's 8:02. We're going to do our swag giveaway in a question, but I got a couple things here I want to get to. One is somebody wanted you to make sure you mention Spitzy's birthday.
Oh yes, Spitzy's birthday. He's turning 13 this Saturday.
Yeah. So
it's like I said, he's been with me since he was 6 weeks old. Him and I are probably as close as one man and his pup can get, right? We've got so many amazing adventures behind us. I couldn't have done it without him. He's my he's not just my best friend, he's my campsite soldier. He's just we've been so cool together. Yeah, we've laughed, we've cried, we've done everything together. It's just he's pretty cool. So yeah, we're gonna celebrate his 13th birthday on Saturday. Awesome. Gonna get a good jag on there. Spitzy's not a really big beer drinker, but he likes his steaks. So we're gonna cook him up a nice big steak and just have some fun with it all.
That's how, hey everybody, throw some birthday cakes in the chat there. Some birthday cake emojis there for Spitzy. Let's celebrate that 13th birthday. You know what? One thing I can say about Spitzy is this dog is laid back. Like this dog is like ultimately laid back. He is
now. I'll give him that. When he was a puppy, I'll tell you, I never put on more kilometers chasing that little bugger around. They're such a handful and they're so vocal. Yeah. Him and I we just have a laugh. I mean, we never really had any issues with animals in the forest because we were so loud. Everything was like they would, if anything, had stuck around to see what the hell was making all the noise, right? Mm-hmm. But he's been amazing. He's probably treed, honestly, I wouldn't be scared to say he's probably treed 100 bears in his life.
Really?
Like I mean, they come in. He doesn't tolerate me. I love bears. I absolutely love the
Spitz, eh?
But Spitzy, he not so much. He sees him, he puts the tear on him pretty quick. Cool. We've got a few stories with that, that's for sure. He's actually treed one bear from the front of his canoe. Wow. That was with David Jackson. Yeah, he's got some great photos of that too. Yeah. But Spitzy's got no fear for the bears. It doesn't tolerate him coming around our camp much. But
yeah, we need you to be posting more YouTube videos so that we can watch more of these adventures. Because what little content you do have on your YouTube channel, I'm all done watching it, man. I need more.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm just trying to start to learn. Like I said, I'm extremely computer illiterate, but I'm starting to learn how to use GoPro and using my phone a little bit more. So I've got a few little projects that I really want to check out and kind of promote, just to have a laugh, kind of a deal, right? And that's the whole thing about being in the bush too, is just really enjoying what you have out there. You don't have to be intense all the time. There's a lot of people are worried about bears and wolves and bugs and all these things. And, of all the years that I've been in the bush by myself, being as vulnerable as I have been, I've yet to have anything that was really, that really, like, especially on bear wise, I've never had a bear come up and try to threaten me or anything like that. They got a little intimidated a little bit when I got startled. They'd slap the ground a little bit, but I've yet to run into a bear that ever wanted to do me any harm. Mm-hmm. And they've got a pretty unique sense of humor.
Yeah. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Right?
They do, yeah.
Okay, you know what? I just want to let everybody in the chat know I posted in there the StreamYard link. If you would like to come on up and ask Mike a question or two about his journeys or a couple of his stories or something, or if you have any comments you'd like to make, please do join us. It's super simple. Mike told me he was looking forward to what? Answering questions, right?
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. I love it, And like I said, the stupidest question is the one you don't ask. Yeah, there's nothing I haven't been asked about in the bush. It's pretty crazy. I've had some pretty crazy questions asked, of course, but and it is fun. But when you never been into the bush, or if you could just have something that what to do in case of, yeah, there's not a scenario that I haven't been in.
Right.
It's funny. My biggest ones as well. They talk about bears and wolves, but nobody ever talks about hornets and where you shouldn't go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I have got one story where I was coming out of Menaki, out of Kenora, and I was going by the Menaki Lodge, and it's this huge, beautiful lodge. So they knew I was coming by, and they flagged me in and said, "Hey, come on in. We got a burger and poutine for you." And I was like, "Oh, right on." So I went up there and I pounded it back. There were sparks flying off the plate and everything. This little styrofoam plate. And I was just at its full. What a beautiful meal. But I was very pressed for time. I'm always on the go. So I said, "Okay, I'm out of here." Ran down and off we went in the canoe. Gave him a nice plug. Well, about 2 hours later, it come to the point. Well, what goes in must come out sometimes. So I thought, okay, well, I'm paddling along. I look over and there's a nice little log sitting over there just off in the bush. And I thought, well, okay, let's pull it off there. We'll be quick. So I told Spitz, stay in the canoe. I'll be right back. So I run up on there and, you got these bugs zipping around. I thought they were just horse flies. Anyway, I dropped trow. And yeah, well, those horse flies didn't appreciate where I was going. Anyway, 2 stung me right square in the hoop. Freaked me out. I went to go pull my pants up, and I must have rolled about 3 more up my arse. And they nailed me. And they were the yellow jackets, the little yellow and black ones.
Yeah.
Well, I take the swelling on that. By the time I got down to the canoe, my ass had swelled so bad I couldn't even pull my pants up. And I couldn't sit down because it was rather tender.
Yes.
So I learned how to stand up paddle in pain for about an hour before I got everything all settled down. But yeah, so that's one of the big dangers. If that would have been an anaphylactic shock thing, that could have been a lot worse. I mean, that would have been a hell of a way to find myself anyway.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Always carry your Benadryl and yeah.
I'm not going to say I'm holding myself, but I'm thinking about holding myself.
It took me a while there, actually, yeah, you have to pull a crazy Ivan on that thing.
Yeah. Just so you know, Mike, we had like a whole bunch of people were all posting all kinds of birthday cakes and stuff for Spitzy. So
awesome. Yeah, he deserves every little bit of it. And if somebody wants to send him a card, I read them out every time I get them on my Facebook Live. If you send them to Killarney, General Delivery, P0M2A0. And if you send a card up for Spitzy, I'm going to give it till next week, and I'm going to get Spitzy to pick out his favorite card, and we're going to send somebody a little something there, a little small paddle or something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to the swag giveaway, and then I'm going to get back to a couple questions because I got a question here from Josie and somebody you've met before, and Wilderman, and there's a few other questions that we're going to get to. Cool. I want to make sure I get these on screen. And also, like I said, everybody, I posted the link over there. Come on up, join us, meet Mike, and share a story.
Yeah,
or you know what?
What could happen?
I'm going to crack this right after the swag giveaway, and we're going to do a toast, right? So
cool.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna put you in the green room for a second, Mike, so I could do the swag giveaway. Great chance to run off and use the men's room if you need to. And I'll have you back up here as soon as I do the swag giveaway, and we'll carry on with this party.
Sounds good, Dennis. Sounds good.
Alrighty. See you in a second. All right, guys. Wow. You know what? My wife has always said to me, "You got to smile more on camera. You got to." I don't think this is going to be a problem. Cheryl, if you're watching, I don't know if you're noticed, but yeah, I've been smiling all night. This is this is great. Mike is a great guy. Okay, so basically tonight's swag giveaway. As I always mention, please do not put the answer in the chat. What I need you to do is email your answer to coasprize@gmail.com by Saturday at 11 p.m. And at that time, I'll do a draw and I will get your prize. I'll notify you and we'll get the prize out to you. Not a huge giveaway tonight, but giveaway nonetheless. And because it's not huge, I'm going to do 2. So basically, there's going to be 2 winners of this swag giveaway. I'm going to send your way a couple of Canoehound Adventures iron-on patches, Canoehound's Adventures, and Canoehound's Outdoor Adventure Show. And with that, also a decal pack that you can use on bottles, your lunchbox, granny's forehead, whatever it may be. I'm also going to send you a free day rental from our friends over at Algonquin Outfitters and a couple of Algonquin Outfitter decals. So you can't win if you don't have a ticket. I'd love to hear your answers, see your answers. If you get it wrong, I will still reply and I'll encourage you. I'll give you a little nudge to make sure that you get me the right answer, because I like to see everybody able to enter the contest. And tonight's question is, what was the distance of Mike's longest portage? And this blew me away, and I don't think I'd ever want to do a portage that big because I don't travel that far to canoe. But yeah, what was the distance of Mike's longest portage? So if you could drop me your answer to coasprize@gmail.com by Saturday at 11. I'll leave this on screen for a minute while we bring Mike back, and hopefully we get a couple people that might want to pop into the chat with us. Otherwise, we'll just keep going with the show the way it is. Alrighty, so I'll leave that on screen for another minute. Thanks to our new channel member and for the super chats there. It's great. Thank you for the support. It helps the channel grow and helps to offset some of the costs of producing the show. So thank you very much. Your support is greatly appreciated. And I think it was Paul Hoy. If you could please make sure you send me your contact information, your mailing address, so that before midnight tonight, so I can get you into the draw for tomorrow's members only stream. And I'll make sure I send you the link to that there so that you can join us tomorrow night for the live drawing. Anyways, let's get back on with the show. We'll bring Mr. Mike back up. Hey, long time no see, my friend.
No doubt. Right on. Somebody got her beat, eh? Good.
Yes, for sure. So, okay. So once again, everybody, what was the longest distance of Mike's longest portage? We need that answer. And let's get back into some questions that I mentioned I wanted to get on here before we got too far. So here's somebody I know you met last year because I seen a picture on Instagram from her. Adventures with Josie. Josie says, what do you enjoy most about your long canoe trips? And that's Josie from Mattawa.
Oh, yes, Josie, for sure. Adventures with Josie. Yeah, she's another amazing girl. She's doing a lot for our veterans, too, and hats off to her. She's pretty cool, that's for sure. And what do I enjoy most about my long distance is honestly the solitude of it all, the fresh air. I love the fact that I get into shape. And, yeah. And the binge drinking alone. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, the long distance canoeing, you get a little bit of everything in there with Canada.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's you meet so many different people. What I found most interesting is going along the route is how the dialects change from place to place. You know how you got the Noofs got this unique accent to them. So do the Cape Bretoners, the Acadians, the French, the Ontario, Manitoba, all these got these unique dialects as you go across, and it's so awesome. It's so Canadian. But each one of them all end with a A.
Yeah, with an A.
And we do. That's something we should be so proud of. We got so many different cultures. Like, we're so diverse, yet we all get along. You know, that's probably why Canada is such a revered country in the world, honestly, is because, we still do have our little bit of issues like anywhere else, but it's not near as predominant as you'd see it in other places. And I think it's just one of these, this is one of the last strongholds on the earth that we don't have that predominant racism, so to speak, or people are throwing rocks at each other with religions. We all kind of get along in this melting pot, and we appreciate the good parts of what everybody brings on into the table, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what that's what I enjoyed about the long distance part of it is learning the heart of the country. It really is. It's pretty beautiful.
Yeah. Got a comment here from Hike with Mike. I believe he's based down around the Florida area. He says, thanks, Mike, for helping with PTSD. And I really think the woods is the best medicine for PTSD by all means. Yeah. Yeah,
absolutely. And I've been hearing this more and more. I've had several people contact me over the years saying, they just want to go out and how about do we start it, And again, it's just nudging them in the right direction. There's people, like I said, they just never been in the bush, never really known how to step into a canoe even. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing I'd really like to throw out there for, any of our first responders and veterans or anybody having a tough time with PTSD. If you can come into Killarney, absolutely, I will 100% take you out and show you how to get those first steps in. And then once you get into it, I'll guarantee you, that bush grabs a hold of you. That Mother Nature will tap you on the shoulder a little bit, and you'll kind of get that understanding that there is a beauty out there that all can enjoy, and it's free of cost.
Yeah.
You know, when you get that first bird come up and sit right in front of you, and you make that just the smallest connections, you know, and you realize that there are things watching you in the bush, but they're not an evil watch, right?
Yeah.
And,
And Mike will buy you a coffee and dinner. I heard him say it earlier in the show.
And what?
I said, Mike will buy you coffee and a dinner. I heard him say it earlier in the show.
All right. Yeah, what the hell? Like,
I bet you're getting his.
I've been drinking. I could just, yeah, sure. Come on in.
Here, Mike, I got to toast you, my friend. Cheers.
Hey, cheers to you. Right on, Dennis.
Cheers at you, buddy. Everybody else out there in the chat tonight too. I hope you're enjoying this show. I know I sure am. You were showing the paddle earlier, and Wilder Man Northern Adventures is asking, what is fractal burning?
Fractal burning is it's high voltage burning on wood. I use baking soda and water solution. I let it soak into the wood, and then you put these two tines on the end of it. You press the button, and it fries the wood in a very unique way. I don't know how to discover it other than that, but it's one of those things. The second time I did it, I ended up twitching on the floor for a little while. You really want to be careful with. Don't wet your sleeve and then touch something on it. Yeah, it's kind of neat. You just kind of wake up and you kind of do this little bit there. It takes a little bit of energy out of you, and you ask yourself, what the hell, about 3-4 times. It's unique. You only do it once.
Yeah. Can you show that paddle again that you have with it on there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Here.
Yeah, this is part of it here.
So all them lightning looking things are actually
this one here will show it a little bit better. This is the one I just built. This is actually the one that I'm going to be giving away for the other paddle in the canoe. So you can see the burning and what it does, right? It's very unique.
Yep.
And once I sand those down, the detail comes out really beautiful. But it is a dangerous way to make things, but unique too at the same time. So your paddle is really unique.
I guess we should put a disclaimer, don't try this at home, or you could end up twitching on the floor like Mike once did.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'd say let people do it, and let the cards fall as they may. I mean, you can have some good humorous stories. Don't do it with a pacemaker, of course. Or any kind of electrical stuff in you. You try to take your chains off and all your bling bling before you do this.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Yeah, we got a couple people. Mark from Open Air Outdoors says he celebrates his dog's birthdays too. And just Mark, thanks very much for I got my bottle sticker ready to go on one of my Nalgene bottles.
Hey,
Thank you very much. And this guy's got a great video on how to make some chaga fire starters. So everybody go over and check out there or Open Air Outdoors.
Absolutely, that was one of the main things that they used along with the flint, right?
Yeah.
Chaga is an amazing ember starter. If you can just get a little spark on it and a little bit of wind, wow, it takes off like a banshee.
Yeah. Mark's got a small, his channel's just growing. I shouldn't say a smaller channel because it's starting to grow now, but I love his content, man. This guy, he's like you. He's the ultimate outdoorsman up north, and he takes us along on his adventures, and that's always good for the heart and soul, right?
It's like I've said to people before, what I know in the bush, honestly, I could probably write a decent sized book, but what I don't know would fill a warehouse. There's just so much to learn out there, right? So, I mean, asking questions, big time. Taking mushroom courses is a big one. I don't recommend anybody just go out and start eating out of the bush.
No.
The way I tell it, I said, if you'll get a reaction that you could take a crap and not miss a needle on an 8-foot pine tree, right? You just want to be real careful on what you eat. Yeah, it's not a fun place to have that happening, right?
No. Oh my gosh. Yeah, especially if there's a yellow jacket.
Yeah, then you don't want to throw that mist
when you spackle their home, right?
Yeah. Well, I know for sure during that instant there was at least 2 or 3 hornets that had to sleep outside of the nest that night. Cleaning off to do there.
Let's see here. A couple more comments. We got Paul Hoy saying, such a refreshing statement just made. So many are so paranoid about canoe tripping. However, Mike has been vulnerable to many things because he's open to bush wilderness state of mind.
Yeah, absolutely, Paul. It's and it is. It's all having that, and I can't explain because I can't blame people for being a little bit scared when they first go in because there is an unknown.
Yeah.
You know, and you hear so many stories about, oh, the bears will get you, the wolves will get you, the mosquitoes will get you, and you hear all these negative things. But you know what's going to get you out there is that, you know, that little bit of silence. You know, when you get the animals, even if it's just as simple as a squirrel, you know, come up and kind of pay that little bit of attention to you. You know, but they too show that, you know, they have feelings. You know, all the animals have feelings and emotions just like we do.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really cool. I got a family of otter here in Killarney, and there was 9 of them at one time. You know, and I had them all named, and they used to come right up to me. And I had one little one named Teresa, and she was one of the smallest, the Rantas, but she was so friendly. She would jump right up on my lap and take fish from me. And her mom that was sitting right there didn't mind. They knew, again, you put that heart out there that you're not out there to hurt anything. And you'd be so surprised how animals will approach you. I've had lots of bears, and I've met them because my father has always told me growing up, if, you know, what do I do when I see a bush? I've been soloing in the bush since I was 9 years old. So when I go out, Dad said, just say hello. He's not going to hurt you. Just say hello. And, you know, countless times I walk past the bear and just, you know, the bear looks startled. I'm startled. Just like, whoa, hello. And just kind of walk around, and the bear would look at you funny, but just do its own thing. You know, I've never felt the threat, right? I think my parents might have tried to get rid of me that way, but it just backfired on them. I was bringing bear home. Hey, boy, I got a friend. It's whoa.
Yeah, that's what.
But I've raised all kinds of little critters. I've raised all kinds of little critters in my life. You know, I had a baby deer, a little muskrat. I mean, countless squirrels and chipmunks, right? I had more of a connection with animals in the bush than I had with people. I don't know what it was with that, but I just seemed to appreciate it more. There was a lot of honesty in the bush. You know, that's the thing. Except for them sneaky squirrels. You know, sometimes they could be a little bit sneaky on things. That's why I got fixed too. He takes care of them.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, Kevin Callan on the show last week. He come on for a brief moment there, and he's, "What about the squirrel? Or save the chipmunks? What about the chipmunks?" Yeah.
Oh, Kevin's always been comical. I always have a laugh with him every time I see him. And again, you know, it's like the happy camper. Go out there, be happy. Yeah. And again, you'd be surprised on how things go. You know, but you know, I've talked about bears lots and stuff like that. And one of the shows I did at the Toronto Outdoor Show was how to kill a bear with your bare hands.
Yeah.
And a lot of people showed up like, how do you do it? And I'm like, you can't. Okay.
You can't. You can't.
Yeah, you can go after a bear with a knife. I think the record's 9 times before you get killed. So hey, carry on, right? Yeah. If a bear is going to stalk to kill you, we wouldn't have a chance in the bush. Yeah. You know, they're just that kind of elusive animal. But they're an amazing thing. That the whole trick about bears in the bush is not to draw them into your campsite.
Yeah.
So I tell people this, and I know it goes against the Ministry of Natural Resources and a lot of people who have these bear hanging kits. Do not hang your food in a tree. A bear has got the best nose in the bush. They're part of the pig family. They can smell for miles. The moment you put that thing up above your head, that little bit of wind, it's always a little bit higher. It's going to take that food, no matter how well you have it in a barrel or a pack, it's going to travel it. And it's going to draw that bear into your camp. Sometimes you just meet bears and they're just around the area, but if you want to avoid them coming into your camp looking for food, which is their whole deal, you know, during that season, they're trying to, yeah, I know, Spitz, later. I'm telling a story about bears. And so, yeah, so keep your food low, keep it tied to a tree, just one moment. I'm just going to beat my dog a little. Hey! He knows to get out of here when I pick up the paddle. He's laughing at me again. But yeah, keep your food low, tied to the base of a tree. Take a cotton blanket, a large cotton blanket. Keep it in a bag, a Ziploc bag with mothballs. And at the end of the day, when you're putting your campsite down, put that sheet around it and put a tarp over it. That's going to keep your squirrels, your chipmunks, your mice, everything out of there. It just keeps, mothballs is a high ammonia scent, and any animal with a sense of smell, it really deters them.
Yeah, wow.
So it also it's a scent grabber, so it'll keep those scents down a little bit, and they won't take them away from your camp so much.
I never heard that one before, man. That's a new one. If we ever do a show on hanging your food bags, I'm bringing you on to tell that story.
Absolutely, yeah, I'd love to. Like, I've gotten to that argument with people before, saying, "Wow, it's very irresponsible of you to say that. You should always hang your food." And the ministry says it. I said, "I know. This is just my experiences, right?"
Yeah, yeah.
And the big thing about, if you do hang your food, 90% of the time, the only time you're going to know if there's a bear there is when he's climbing that tree. They're very quiet when they come into your camp. And if they're up a tree and you come out of your tent when it's dark, now you got a bear trapped in the tree. He's got to come down. He's only going to react two ways. He's either going to run away or he's going to defend himself. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be put in that situation. So it's best that the bear come into camp. You stand up, you look at, and I've done this dozens of times. Open up your jacket, stomp at him, and give that sense that, hey, this is mine, not yours. And they want an easy meal. If they can't get an easy meal, they're going to leave you alone. And that's as simple as it gets. Especially if you got a high berry season and stuff like that. They're very opportunistic. They'll take your candy bars and stuff like that if they can. But if they don't, if they can't get an easy meal, they're going to move on. Yeah. That's the whole trick to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you had mentioned a moment ago that every time you talk to Kevin Kellen, you always have a good laugh, right? Well, let's start laughing.
Hey, Kevin, how you doing, buddy?
How you doing? Okay, but hold on.
How you been?
Everybody? Now, this is a brave fella down here. He's actually joining us on camera to ask a question or two. Come on, join us. Get on here. I think encourage everybody.
I would, except you made me so friggin' busy. Oh, let's talk about Ontario parks and the reservation system. Oh, hey, Kevin, you can step up and actually go on the major media.
I hear that you're fighting the good fight, Kevin. Good for you.
It's okay, Kevin. I haven't had a phone call, so that's good. You take the heat.
No, Dennis. Seriously, I'm the fall boy. That's what I'm talking about.
Sorry, Kevin.
I don't have a life. Oh.
Well, you send them my way, Kevin. I'll take on some of that heat.
Oh my God! Yeah, I was halfway through a pee, and they called. Can you do an interview now, Kevin? Oh. And it's all
okay, but
they got this thing on phone. It's called mute. You can shut your speaker off.
Well, I have a problem with that personally. Hey, so Mike, tell everybody. I just tuned in, so I don't even know what you talked about before. So your hat, is it real birch bark?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So you didn't buy that off? Yep. Yep. Okay. And
I actually harvested this one. I went with my father. This is a few years ago now. And when we'd go get firewood, Dad would get a permit and that, of course. And I'd always pick out the tree that I wanted. We got. I'd drop a little bit of tobacco. Dad would drop the tree, and I would harvest the bark, and then we'd harvest the tree also.
And you would make that. So, what was it? An epiphany when you made the first hat? You were like, "This is it. This is the hat I'm wearing."
It was when I made the first one, actually, because birch bark is kind of hard to work with. It curls up on you and everything. So the very first hat I made was actually I made a perfectly round hole, like as if my head was perfectly round or something, and it sat up, and I'm just like, wow, okay, I'll use this one for picking berries. The second one I actually ovaled out, and it actually worked really great. I actually got it up over here. I had that in my 2014 trip. But yeah, when I had it on and I wore it, and it just felt so comfortable, right? And it was weatherproof. And I thought, wow, what a great look. And I mean, it broke ice no matter where I went. When I wore that anywhere, it was just like, wow, is that real birch bark? Total strangers would come up to me, and I realized it's a good thing to have that way. If I'm going to start doing this thing for our veterans, I'm going to have to start talking to people. I've never been shy in my life, so it was kind of cool when I did put the hat out there and people started approaching me by it. And I'd say, hey, what do you know? Where'd you do that? I said, hey, I'm doing this. I'm wearing this for appreciation of our veterans. And you get that talk going, right? And it's just slowly started ballooning out from there. And yeah, it's been pretty cool.
I think that's fantastic. But have you tried like making underwear out of birch bark?
Well, actually, yeah, I made a birch bark bikini once. That would it worked out all right.
And how did that go with the ladies?
It went really well, actually. I thought it
wasn't for you, right?
It was pretty sexy anyway, but
surely that bikini wasn't for you, right?
Oh my God.
No. I was I had a thong one made there with a banana hammock there. I mean, the chafing alone, it was too much.
Right by the fire and everything catches fire from the oils and the burst fire.
Oh God! Sorry, Dennis. You're like, why did Kevin call? So, did you tell everybody about your commercial about the beer commercial?
Oh, the Clardy Cream Ale.
Yeah. Have you told anybody about that?
Oh yeah, I posted it on Facebook there a few times, but it was the day that we did the commercial was epic. I mean, we got together. Rob, I believe it was Rob Mallon out of Little Current with Manitoulin Brewery.
Okay.
When we first started talking about this, Spitz and I were going to paddle the first keg over to Killarney. And then Blair Hagman from Manitoulin Brewery, amazing guy, him and Joet and the Shin, said, hey, let's get a whole group of people in a big canoe and take the first whole load of beer over. And it was just right away, hey, this has got to be a reenactment in history somewhere, right?
You're living the life, Mike. So you've gone across Canada 3 times, right? Or maybe 4.
I did Rocky Mountain House to Montreal in 2011. 2014, I did Vancouver to Tatamagouche, Nova Scotia. 2016, I did Vancouver, made it all the way to Cape Breton. 2017, I tried to go from Bella Coola, made it as far as Lake Superior. And then I've been guiding a Superior Court Judge, Stephen O'Neill, a great guy. He's still involved with the First Nations and some of the consultations that's going on that end. And he is making decisions with First Nations, and he really wanted to get to know what the First Nations and the communities that he's making decisions about. So he started paddling across Canada at the age of 60 in sections. And then him and I met in 2014. In 2015, I paddled him through a short section from Fort Frances to Thunder Bay. We became really good friends. I understood what he was trying to do. He understood what I was trying to do. So we're working together, and I'm getting him up to the Arctic. So in 2018, we went from Fort McMurray to the Paw, and then 2019 went from Fort McMurray to Yellowknife, and then 2020 we were supposed to do Yellowknife to Tuktoyaktuk to get us to the Third Coast, and again learning about the First Nations along the way. And my hat's off to a guy, I've been in the judicial system a few times, some for good reasons and others for not, but either way, seeing a judge and how he carried himself, it was really heartwarming to see that we still have that in our judicial system. And he's a real game changer when it comes down to it. An incredibly honorable guy. And so it's been an eye opener for him and me, So yeah, we're going to work together. Two different spectrums of society. But as Canadians, we set our heart in the right place, and we can do anything together. We really can.
That's
Kevin, did you hear about his little portage? 880 kilometer portage.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about his penis.
No. We don't go there. Come on.
Wow, that's just
880 kilometer portage.
Sorry, I should have said that.
That's all right. 880 kilometers, and there was a drug in a rut there.
It's been a long day.
You're always good for the happy camper, eh?
Are we live?
Yeah, we're still alive. There goes monetization.
You can't take back, Kevin.
I heard a lot about his portage. No, I'm sorry. I know what Mike's done. It's one of those things where you're in the room at the outdoor shows when we had outdoor shows, as opposed to COVID, right? And we'd all say, "Yeah, Mike, he's the real deal." Like hats off, birchbark.
It's like I said before. You don't got to spend months at a time in the bush to get a feeling of what's out there. You could spend a couple of hours to a couple of days, and you just get this amazing understanding of what's out there in the bush, right? And I mean, that's why, Kevin, that's why we promote what's out there. There's people who are, like you said, from the city who just simply don't know, and it's up to us to convince them to say, hey, take those first few steps, even if it's just a hike, a little paddle around a beach, once you get that bug that bites you, and it does. It just makes us better people. All around. If we can appreciate nature, what's around it, and we promote that, hey, that just makes us all better people all the way around the deal. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I got to go because Dennis is sort of saying cut because like you're just wrong, Kevin. You're wrong. Cut off.
I didn't say such a thing.
I have nothing in my hand. Right. So
hey, neither do I.
Well, grab yourself a cocktail and join us in the green room if you like.
No, I got to work tonight. You got me on these friggin' interviews. Kevin,
Keep fighting the good fight, Kevin. That's just it.
Okay, we'll give credit where credit's due. Everybody, Kevin Callan is the new Ontario Parks spokesperson for getting rid of that program, right?
No.
I'm gonna promote the hell out of you, Kevin. Good to see that you're taking on that position, buddy.
You know what? Next week, for the first time in my life, I'm going to have a holiday. I'm going to take the day off. That's it.
Where are you going?
I don't know. I'm going to wear a birchbark hat, and I'm going to talk about my penis. All right.
You know what? Talk about your penis if you want. You're going to scare all the ladies away. Because they know you're taken now, of course, right? But can anybody picture Kevin Callan wearing Mike's hat? That hat, nobody can pull that hat off like you, Mike.
No, but I will tell you though, my partner Christine made me wear this Tilly Gilligan's hat. I went, no, that's wrong. And I wore it during a scout thing. I was doing a presentation, actually in front of like a lot of scout leaders, and they all said, "Yeah, take it off. It's wrong." Yeah. So I'm thinking, you know what? Mike, you and I will have a canoe paddle contest, and whoever wins the longest portage will actually win the hat.
Well, all right. I'm game for that. The longest portage? I get to pick it.
Yeah, you'll win.
Okay. And you're probably going to need a
Kevin, you might be taking yourself in on this one.
I know.
Oh, God.
The good thing though, Mike, you paddle a lot, right? So you always know that it's always good to blame someone else. So tonight we'll just say, Dennis, it's your fault.
I will take blame. Hey, Kevin, I've had a smile on my face all night tonight, man. My cheeks are going to get sore here, right? So it's okay. I'll take all the blame tonight.
Okay, well, good luck to the size of your portage, Dennis. Okay, good night.
See you in the green room if you want.
I'll see you again, Kevin.
Always a pleasure, eh? Always a pleasure.
It's always something surprising with him, that's for sure. He's a pretty comical fella, that's for sure.
Yeah. I had a couple people in the chat were asking you to talk about your tree feeder.
Oh, the tree feeder 2000.
The tree feeder 2000. A couple, and there were like 2 comments in a row about it. So I thought we might have touch on it.
I've come up with this contraption. I always thought in the bush, it's always been a tough place to do your business kind of a deal. And at the same time, I'm thinking, I'm trying to figure out how to carry my canoe without no hands. So something I could throw the canoe on and grab 2 things and go. So I come up with this tree feeder 2000. I got it right here. I'll show you. Just one second.
Let's see this thing. Maybe we'll even put you full screen on this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that the Big Dipper?
So this strap here I got from my buddy Pierre out of his van he was going to toss. So this part here straps around the tree. And then this sits just like so. And I dig a hole at the bottom of the tree. It's about that deep or so. And feed the tree. But these things here, as you can see, there's some V's in here. Yep. So I took the yoke off my canoe, and the yoke now fits right in here. And then I got a top bow. See, this here is also a pack sack. So this thing sits on my back like so. I put that on. Oh.
Darn slingshot.
And it fits like this. The canoe sits on top of the rack here. And then I got a bow rope that attaches
Does anybody feel like a piggyback ride right now for Mike?
Yeah, again, I'd have to hold on to the tree like this and lean back. And hopefully nobody shits in my boot, right? But yeah, it works so great. I put a pack on here, I put the canoe on, and I'm free-handed. And I could carry my pack, my canoe, plus 2 pails, and I could shorten things right up into 1 portage. And everything that I do is all about time. So it's always moving forward as much as you can. Unfortunately, on this trip, I had it down to 3, and then I had a really bad wipeout on the river, and I got a stick right in the back of my hamstring. And so that knocked me down to 4 portages, right?
Oh, wow.
That's usually what I'm, packing with all the food that I take with. Like if I'm going on a 10-week trip, I'll take all my porridge and everything on my 10-week. I don't take food drops.
Yeah.
If I can get to a grocery store or something along the way, I will. But this last year's trip, for instance, I was just about 30 days before I could get to a store.
Yeah.
So it was living off the land. He was taking the food with you. It was, but I mean, there was an amazing berry season. The fishing on the Harricana was amazing. There was just so much out there, right? It was just a really, really cool trip. So I didn't lose too much weight. I usually on my trip within a month, I usually lose about 20 to 25 pounds a month on a trip. On my 2016 trip alone, I lost a little better than 80 pounds.
Wow. Wow, that's a lot. I got one statement about your tree feeder. An invention like that comes from somebody who has too much time on their hands.
Well, it's a guy who has time on his hands looking for comfort in the bush.
So I have to ask, have you made up PDF plans? Because I'll tell you can sell plans.
I do. I'm trying to get patent pending on it, actually.
Yeah.
I call it the loo with the view.
The loo with the view.
The loo with the view, because you can put it up on the side of a mountain off a tree and just have one of those moments, right, where you look off in the distance and you can almost echo a fart.
The closest thing I've ever seen to that are the ones that you put in the bumper hitch of your truck or something, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or the ones you strap onto the tire of your truck, right?
But there you're prone for people to roll up on you.
Yeah.
Here in the middle of nowhere, you can still do all right for yourself, right?
What you need to do is you need to make some sort of an attachment that'll hold a barrel on top of the seat so that you're portaging a barrel at the same time, right?
Yeah. Well,
right?
Yeah, I put my pack back there.
Yeah, yeah.
I got my dry wet bags I throw on top of the seat, the way I go, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Grizz Outdoors asking, is that a birch bark hat? It is 100%, yes.
Absolutely.
Wow. So what's on slate? What's Mike got planned for the future? Anything big? Any more cross country excursions? Or
I still want to do a cross Canada adventure. I tried doing it for the 3rd time there, and I was again cut short. Amazingly windy year. That year was in 2017 with David Jackson. We had some amazing battles with the weather. There was tornadoes. It was just a real crazy year. I mean, but yeah, that's definitely in the works. I want to do it again. I might have to do it again. It's like I made a promise to our veterans. I'm going to keep paddling. I'm going to keep doing until I get my say and get the attention of the right people in government who are gonna help us along with this project. And again, it's our government has a pretty tough job no matter what we're doing, right? And I'm not going to them with just an issue. I'm actually coming to them with a possible solution, and hopefully we can use that idea, get a spark of a fire going, and then I'd love to see a veterans canoe in every town across Canada that any veteran and his family can grab at any time and go free of charge. We just owe them that little bit, right? I think it'd be a cool thing that if we had that, it would be just. And somebody could take care of it just for them and say, here you go, bring it back, and if they need it again to get their head cleared up, then they got it, and like I said, I think it's just a project that we're going to keep moving on and see how it pans out. I'm a firm believer that it's going to work. I really do. And I'm just fingers crossed that, like I said, at least if nothing else, get that inspiration going for others to help. You know, like I said, they're having a tough time right now, our veterans, especially during what's going on here now. You know, we need to pull our socks up a little bit.
Right? So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of issues that we could deal with, of course, you know, with our elderly, our First Nations, but you know, it's kind of pick something and put your 100% into it and see if you can make a change. You know, that's the only way you could do is just get involved, make a change, get the right people behind you, stay positive, stay honest, and stay true. You know, there's, like I said, there's too many times you hear of people doing these things, and then you find out later on that they're pocketing the money, or they're doing this, you know, shady stuff behind it, or just to get famous, or, you know, that's kind of the thing we got to get away from. You understand that? I love the limelight too. I do. I love talking to people. I love chatting with them. You know, hanging around, hearing their story too is a big thing, right? I love hearing other people's stories too, you know, about especially their camping and their animal experiences. You know, everybody's got a scar in the bush to say, you know how I got this, you know?
Yeah.
And you get to hear these funny stories and get to relate to them. So yeah,
you got a few of those too, right?
Oh yeah, I've got several scars. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've had some slips and falls, bangs. I've had to put stitches in myself. It's just one of those things. Yeah. And same with Spitz too. You know, he ripped his belly open when he was younger, and I had to stitch him up.
Oh,
you know, but it's having those knowledge of things. Like I said, you got to be very well versed in the bush about everything. It's not you can't be really queasy. You know, it's not something you're going to go into. And if you're scared of spiders and snakes, you're going to quickly learn to respect them and not fear them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's the knowledge that people have taught me over the years. I've got a lot of people I pay homage to. That's for sure. You know, it's knowledge learned. There's a lot of people who made a lot of sacrifices to learn what they learned, and you know, they opened up and showed me a few things. And that's one thing I am too. If you ever meet up with me and you got any questions, you know, hands down, I'll sit down and I'll chat with you. You know, I could show you little things about just the ants. I've spent hours literally staring at anthills to see what they do in different types of weather. And so, you know, you could look at them and go, okay, wow, this has possibly happened. You know, I've noticed during rainstorms that, you know, before the rain gets there, they're plugging their holes. You know, you watch what the flies do. Watch what even the leaves do on a tree. A dead balsam will tell you within 6 hours if it's going to rain or not. It folds up like an umbrella. But you got to know what a balsam is, right? So, you know, there's a lot of little things out there, but again, it's just gathering up these little things, and I love sharing that. I really do, and it's making people comfortable. I know as soon as people start feeling comfortable being in nature, they're going to naturally be comfortable around people, and that's what we need to do.
Cool.
And we got it here in Canada.
You know what? You put it. That's like the head of the nail. You got her, man. Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
before we draw to an end on tonight's show, because all of our viewers are very shy tonight, we've had some great questions, but I do have a couple questions about a couple of the things in behind you there. I asked you about that canoe that you have hanging over your head.
This one here, yeah.
Yeah, you had a rather interesting story about that.
There is a good friend of mine here in town, Mike Raish, great guy. He had this canoe for years. He rescued it, actually. He was an avid canoeer back in the day. And he come across this canoe, and it was hanging in his garage. And he said, Mike, I'd like for you to take a look at it. So I'm thinking, okay, well, you know, I've had people show me canoes before and stuff. And as I look up and I look into these rafters, and I'm just like, wow, how much do you want for it? And he said, I just need the space, you know, $100. And I said, well, okay, that's way too cheap. So I gave him $100, and I know him and his wife play cribs, so I made a crib board for him and gave him that and took the canoe on. It's a late 50s, early 60s Prospector chestnut. And like, I mean, my style of canoe, right? And it's a working man's canoe. So it was an old canvas back. I stripped it all down, and I re-stripped it with all the different woods in Canada. Douglas fir, the poplar, jack pine, spruce, fir, walnut, cherry wood, maple, everything. Any kind of tree that you could think of in Canada, I made a strip in and put it into it. And it turned out fantastic. It was the very first wooden canoe. Now that's exactly what I want to do. I'd love to make wooden canoes. What I'm going to do with this one, I decided, is I'm going to fix it all up, do it up nice. I'm going to make it for a decent trip. And then we're going to raffle that one off, and we're going to use those proceeds again to go toward our Warriors Adventure Canada. The more that we can get into these, some more monies that we can get in, we can get their canoes bought. We can make their canoe trips a little cheaper. And again, it's going to give that place for veterans all around the country. If they want to come up for a canoe paddle, get a hold of these guys, and let's come clear your head with Mother Nature. And I could guarantee you, it's just definitely going to be a benefit for all who get involved with it. And again, it's just making these small sacrifices, building a canoe, doing these trips, and getting involved with their veterans is just a fraction of what they sacrifice. So, you know, again, I can't say enough about the town of Killarney and how much support that I've been getting around here. It's just been amazing. It's been really amazing. The Killarney Mountain Lodge is just, I just can't say enough about the staff and everybody here. And just, it's really heartwarming. Really heartwarming.
You know what? My take is you're getting the support from all of them because they could see the good that you're doing.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. You know, and that's
you're doing a great job.
I do have my moments, just like everybody does, right? You know, and you know, I've just learned to take the experiences I had in life and then put it towards something positive, and that's the whole thing. Keep positive and keep good in your heart, and things are going to come out of it. You know, and always fight the good fight. You know, always try to go out there. It's life ain't easy at a lot of times, and you got to set that example and be the inspiration for others to get after it, right? And it's pretty cool when you can pull that off.
Yeah. Now, I've left this comment up here for quite a while, and I just really wanted to make sure everybody sees this. And the Grizz Outdoors say he's working on an idea to take a vet with him on trips. Nature's the best medicine, physically and mentally. Nature doesn't lie.
Yeah.
Commend you on that, Grizz. Keep it up. And if you need to get a hold of Mike, I see your next comment there. Reach out to Mike on Facebook at what's
Absolutely.
your Facebook channel?
It's Mike Ranta's Paddle, and absolutely, if I can help people along on what they're doing, for sure. You know, like I said, any question, tips on what to do, how to deal within the bush, any places where to go. Like I said, I've been to a lot of different places, and it seems like with Kevin Callahan, if they're going to keep upping these things up, we're going to hit some crown land up, eh?
Yeah.
But, you know, again, absolutely. Wherever I can help, I will.
And that monster paddle right behind your head, is that the replica of the
No, actually, I make that. I'm actually, what I want to do in Killarney is I want to get this labeled the paddling capital of Canada.
Yeah.
So we got the big paddle up here. I want to put a couple of hundred of these things around town with people's, this one's actually for a really good friend of mine, April and Teddy. Pittsfield, just a really beautiful family. They've done so much around the community. So I've made that for April and Teddy, and we're going to have that outside their home. And it's going to say, you know, their address and everything on it.
Cool.
And so I want to have those. I want to have a paddle beside every house in Killarney eventually, so people are going to run in and realize that we are a mecca for paddling. There's not any time of the year except for winter where we can't do it. And it's just a great place to be. You know, we got the Killarney Provincial Park here. We got the Philip Edward Island in the area around. We got to the west of us, McGregor Bay and Killarney Bay, Fraser Bay, Bay Finn. There's just so many places to go. You know, whichever which way the wind's coming. You know, and if you do get stuck in town, hey, we got some great bars like the Carousel. We got a place like Herbert Fisheries, the Sportsman's, the Gateway. You know, we just got places to sit back and relax too, right? With this amazing group of people.
Yeah, that's awesome. Everybody, Mike Ranta. Mike, thanks very much for joining us tonight, man.
Hey, right on.
You know, I'll admit I didn't have the best day today, but my day just got 100% better than it was going. So,
well, I'm sure glad this all worked out. Dennis, I'm looking forward to coming onto the show again and having a laugh. I didn't even touch on a fraction of some of the stories I got. Next time I'm on here, I'll tell you guys about the fart story with Spitz. It's kind of gross, but it's funny.
Well, you know what? You can't leave us hanging, really.
You want to hear this story?
Let's have one more story, and then we'll wrap the evening up.
Okay, well, this was in 2011 when I was first going across the country. And so I was going through northwestern Ontario, and I don't know what the hell Spitz got into. He might have ate something out of the bush or whatever, but it was about a week before we got into Lake Superior. The dog had the farts, right? And I mean, when you're in an 8x8 tent and a dog lets one rip, there's no getting away from it. Your eyes are watering. Your teeth feel like they're wearing sweaters. You know, it's just a dirty one, right? So I'd give him shit, say, get the hell out of the tent and all that. And finally, I get down, I'm paddling. I say, I got to get even with this dog because he's not letting up and he's laughing. So I figured I'd stop. I was going through Silver Islet, and Saxburg used to have the old store there. Lauren and Joanne Saxburg. So anyway, I went in there and I noticed on the shelf there was two cans left of Dynamite hot chili, stag chili, and I thought, that stuff don't react well to me. I'm gonna get him back. I'm gonna make him feel like I was feeling, right? So anyway, we went to take off. I pounded back those two things, didn't even heat them up. Well, by noon, that was in the morning. By noon, I mean, my guts were rubbling, and I let a couple of go that just eye watering. So I figured, okay, I'm gonna get Spitzy tonight. When he sits down, I'm gonna get him right down, and I'm gonna let him go, right? So anyway, I set the tent all up, got still rumbling, called Spitzy in the tent. I had the zipper on my sleeping bag undone and everything. And as soon as he laid down, did his kind of a circle thing, laid down, looked at me, and I flipped the blankets over and I said, payback.
He got you in the
dog. A little one rip like that. And I mean, it was dirty. And it just kind of, he looked at me, he stood up and his eyes were watering. He did two full circles and he puked right on the end of my sleeping bag. I was like, I meant every word of it. And I said, get the hell out of the tent. So I learned that, yeah, you don't get into those kind of contests with Spitzy. You're not going to win. But it was a hell of an effort. And yeah, he learned his lesson too. But I won't do that again.
Oh, you know what? Best show closing story ever.
It was just
all right, Mike.
Yeah.
So just everybody, just so you know, I got Mike's information in the description below the video here on YouTube. You can check it out. He's got a YouTube channel and he's very active on Facebook. You'll see him on there live for half hour and a half at a time. By all means, check it out. Very entertaining. Yeah,
but yeah, absolutely. Come join us on Facebook. I'm going to be on this weekend. We're celebrating Spitz's birthday on the 3rd. Going to read some cards and just have a good time. Tell some good old Spitzy stories. And he's been with me for a long time. He's been an amazing friend, and he deserves every little bit. You know, he was he's, like I said, he's my best friend.
That's awesome.
Amazing fun.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But hey, Dennis, thanks so much for having us on. Sorry it took so long, and I'm so looking forward to our next chat.
It will happen. It will happen. I promise. We might
absolutely.
Have to do a part
we'll
two
do a live
sure.
feed. We'll do a live feed from the big paddle next time. We'll have it out there, and we'll just have a good laugh and tell some stories about that.
That would be sweet for sure. All right, Mike. I'm going to put you in the green room. Please don't go away. I'm just going to close up the show here, and we'll chat a bit in the green room after the show.
Absolutely. Here's to you, brother. Thanks
Mike
again,
Ranta, everybody. Look him up. Thanks very much. Oh wow, everybody! You know what a great time tonight. Mike is a character, a real stand-up dude. He's got some morals that really mean a lot. You know, with what he's doing with the veterans and with the First Nations, trying to raise awareness and funds for them. You know what? If there's anything you could do to help support, Mike is also, always looking to probably help support his big funding or his big journeys that he partakes on to do all these things. So whatever you could do, check him out on Facebook, because by all means, his live streams that he does on Facebook are quite fun. And check out some of his videos from his cross Canada trips there on his YouTube channel. Like I say, links are in the description below. With that being said, I just wanted to let everybody know one more time really quickly here. The swag giveaway question tonight was, what was the distance of Mike's longest portage? And you could send your answer over to coasprize@gmail.com by Saturday at 11. Just wanted to throw the reminder out as well to our channel members and the new channel members. Tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, I've sent you the link by email. Just to let you know that that's the link that you need to get into the chat. And tomorrow night we're going to be doing the giveaway of the. Let me just pop this up here really quick again. Where is it here? Where is it here? There we go. We got a great giveaway. One of our lucky channel members is going to win this package worth over $450 or around $450. Some really cool stuff in there from my channel supporters or sponsors. Thanks very much to them for making this possible. It's not too late to get yourself into this. If you want, just hit that join button below and get yourself become a Canoe Hound Adventures channel member. It comes with all kinds of perks, which is outlined down there. So it's a great way to support the channel and to get some added benefits of the channel itself. Also, check out the new CanoeHoundAdventures.com website. That's CanoeHoundAdventures.com. We just launched that yesterday. Great way to keep up to date with what's going on, both with Canoe Hound Adventures, Canoe Hound's Outdoor Adventure Show, and also other things. One thing I forgot to mention earlier in the show, too, is Paddle in the Park contest is going to be starting in a couple of short months here. It's going to be sneaking up on us. Look to see a lot more about information about that right here on Canoe Hound Adventures. And we will definitely get all the links out there to you so you can be a participant in it and maybe find yourself a paddle, right? Or win yourself some fantastic prizes. There will be a Canoe Hound Adventures paddle that will be hidden out there in one of the provincial parks this year. More details on that to come. So anyways, I just want to thank everybody once again for joining tonight with Mike Ranta as a guest. It was a fantastic show. And you know what? Stay safe, stay healthy, and remember, everybody, keep the adventures alive. We'll see you next week. Cheers, everyone.